Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog, and as you probably saw at the end of my last vlog, I did come down with a bit of a cold. I'm mostly over it, but I do have a pesky cough, so yeah, that's fun. But yeah, today I've done some cleaning and whatnot. I had to go out and shovel some snow as we got our first, I guess, substantial snowfall of the season, which was nice and beautiful, but quite, as you can imagine, extremely cold. And I have been continuing to read Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. And yeah, I was reading this in my last vlog, and I've done some more reading today, putting me on page 198. I think I might try to do some more reading today, we shall see. And yeah, so far it's just me to see more of our main character, of the narrator's life and her belief of what's happening, of the deaths that are occurring, or the animals gain revenge on the hunters who have hunted them. The roles have reversed essentially, and now the hunters are the hunted, so that's quite interesting to see as well. Seeing how there are other characters who seem to have the same theory as narrator, and because of her age, most people to see her as this mad old lady. They don't take her seriously, and I mean, in some people's ears, it might sound like, what is this crazy lady talking about? Which I don't blame them for, really. And essentially, that I do see her more, I guess, eccentric in certain ways, especially with the nickname she gives people. But yeah, we see her and her relationships with other characters, and we learn that there's been another death as someone who was believed to have been missing. There were some theories that he ran away to be with his lover, which was an open secret. I think even the wife knew that he was having an affair. Yeah, it turns out he's dead. And the police, well, they didn't really do the best job in trying to gather evidence with the last death, and there's a new better job in. Yeah, we will see if anything comes from that, but yeah, so far, not much. It's interesting to see new theories and whatnot, and I'm just curious on where this goes, so yeah. And now I will go in defrost as I'm still cold. Oh my word, I get cold so easily, so yeah. I think that's all for now. So it's the next day, and I've done some work. I edited my previous vlog, exported that, and I'm about to work on the thumbnail. And I have done some reading of Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, and I did finish it just now, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite interesting, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. We do we get this scene towards the end when our main character, she goes to service at the church, and the priest is kind of giving a sermon about how kind of encouraging people to hunt essentially, and she gets extremely upsetting. And of course, this is in music. She does lose her job as a school teacher over this, because that was quite controversial and as well in the community where she lives. It is tradition to hunt. It is a part of the life here, and she wants to change that, but she isn't really able to convince other people that. And that's the main reason she loses her job, as well as the fact apparently she was an unconventional teacher. Some of her methods of trying to encourage the children to participate in and have them like learning was looked down on by some of the other teachers who had problems with that area. And we do learn who was the one behind the deaths, and she claims that this person, and I'm not saying who because that would be a major spoiler, that the animals were still responsible for the deaths, but this person was like a vessel, I guess, for them to be the murderers. Like, they were only following what the animals wanted. And we see how this person, they get away from the police. Like, they are protected by the people who care about them. And yeah, and even before that, we see how her endowments, I guess her illnesses, like, had caused her more problems, and how it did end up in referral hospital. And since now, like, her endowments have gotten worse once more, and now she's confined to her home. So yeah, overall, like, this was quite interesting, and I did give it 4 stars. And I did go ahead and just take off the next book I plan to read from my shelf, and I just put a bookmark on page 1. I don't think I'll be doing any more reading today. We shall see about that, but now I know, because I do enjoy giving myself time just to let the books set in, I guess. So yeah, but the next book I'm gonna read, or try to read, I should say, is If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. I think this is like someone who she is an English writer. Just cause I just want to make sure of that. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, she writes in English. Yeah, this is her. Yeah, she writes in English. Yeah. But this is about Carol, who is an electrically beautiful woman with a hard-won job at a room salon, an exclusive underground bar where she entertains businessmen while they drink. For she prides herself on her cold, clear-eyed approach to life. An impulsive mistake threatens her livelihood. Her roommate, Maho, is a talented artist who grew up in an orphanage but won a scholarship to study art in New York. Returning to Korea after college, she finds herself in a precarious relationship with the heir of one of Korea's biggest conglomerates. Down the hall in their building lives Ara, a hairstylist whose 2 preoccupations sustain her: an obsession with a boy band pop star, and a best friend who is saving up for an extreme plastic surgery that she hopes will change her life. And one floor below, is a newlywed trying to have a baby, who she and her husband have no idea how they can afford to raise it in Korea's brutal economy. Together, their stories tell a gripping tale at once unfamiliar and unmistakable, universal, in which their tentative friendships may turn out to be the thing that ultimately saved them. And I'm just very curious about that, and I should apologize if you're gonna hear me for that previous clip of my review. I still have an annoying cough, so that's funny, and I don't know, I just feel a bit stuffy, I don't know why, but yeah. Oh well, it is what it is, but yeah, I think that's all for now. So it's the next day, and I've done some chores and whatnot, and I have done some reading of If I Had Your Face, and I'm currently on page 98, and so far I would say I am having trouble differentiating the characters, because I don't know, to me they're all kind of reading the same to me. Like, we are getting the different backstories from each of these characters, but I guess having trouble differentiating which story belongs to who, if that makes sense. Like, I think the most obvious one is so far the easiest is Carol, who is a room salon. It's girl. It's an underground bar. It's a bit better than belonging to a pimp or a brothel, it seems like to me. Like, it's like, this is a place certain men go to after business hours, and be served drinks by pretty ladies. And the one she's working at, it has a reputation for being that the top 10% of the most prettiest women work at this bar. So, and we also get another character named Ara, who is a hairstylist, and for some reason she's not able to speak. It seems like she had some trauma in her past, and she's just not able to. It seems like to me, she can hear, but and she is a hairstylist, and we see how she has trouble at work with some of the women who are recruited to be like assistants to help around the hair salon. Or one woman in particular does not help in her, making Ara's job more difficult, upsetting her clients more, and whatnot. And then we also have Ara's roommate who wants the plastic surgery and has Carol introduce her to her surgeon, who is one of the best in the country. It seems like you do need to pay quite a lot of money and for this kind of surgery, and it's like he only takes cash. You have to pay back a loan, and there's usually interest, so there's that. And usually the surgery it takes up to a year for you to be fully recovered, so there's that risk. And we get Marho, who is an artist, and she does have a boyfriend who is from a very wealthy, well-known family, and she doesn't get along with her boyfriend's mom. And she had a friend at her university in New York who she was close with, and who killed herself when Mara was a student. And it seems like her boyfriend was her friend's boyfriend, and I don't know, it just seems like Mara might have taken advantage of the situation, or something with grief that brought them together. But yeah, we just see these women go about their lives, and we learn their life story and how one of them had a grandmother she had to live with when she was a child because her dad was working. And it seems like the grandmother was just this hateful person who was also very greedy. And yeah, I don't know, so far it's going okay. I don't know, I don't really feel connected to anyone in particular, and I just can't really tell, I guess, the difference, between these women, personally, because they do all feel that they read the same to me, so, I don't know, maybe I will get the hang of it, I'm not sure, but yeah, it seems like, we see how, we also do see the, culture in Korea, how people, it seems like, I don't know how to say this nicely, they're always looking for a reason to look down on you. If they think you're imperfect, they'll look down on you. They're obsessed with the way it's written. It seems like people are just obsessed with dramas and boy bands, and also this being wealthy, having a good reputation is extremely important to you, coming from a well-known family, having a good background, a good upbringing, aspects of your life are extremely important. If you are from an area of Seoul, then no one you're kind of looked down upon if you went to a certain school, or a standard school, nothing that will give you, a prestige. You're looked down upon. And seeing that is, I don't know, quite interesting, I guess. So, yeah. And yeah, I think that's all for now. So I'll see you when. So it's the next day, and I've done some work and whatnot, and I have done some reading of If I Heard Your Phrase, and I'm currently on page 200, and I do have to say I do like the, I guess, individual stories from each of these women and like what they're going through in life, their experiences that have brought them to where they are. And one of it says, I don't really feel connected to anyone. Like, I'm just thinking this is fine. And with Mona, she is the one we're getting the least of the perspectives from, because I think we've only had like 2 chapters from her POV. And we're just really getting the perspectives from Kairi, Maho, Ara, and I think it's Sujin, I think her name is. I could be wrong. But yeah, we're just really getting their POVs like with one. Well, I would have liked to have seen more, just because her perspective would be very different, as to, in the sense she is someone who's already married and someone who's just trying to have a child through unsuccessfully so far, it seems. And it seems like she's in a very much different stage of life than these women who are just trying to get by. And so, I mean, all of them are trying to get by in life and survive in any way they can. But with her, I don't know, I just would have liked to have seen more of hers. Like, we're not really in her. And I do like each of their opinions and how different it is. Like, with I think it's Maho, with where she came from, the story of her aunt and uncle who had this gifted daughter and weren't able to afford to take care of her anymore, and they had no other choice. And the fact the orphanage she grew up in, it didn't have the best reputation in the city. And with Ara, her injury and what happened to her, why she can't speak, and Ara, we don't get the full story of it from her perspective, and it probably makes sense due to her trauma, but we do get some perspective from a hair salon owner in her hometown, in which she has left, and who her mother thinks, because he asked after her, is romantically interested in her, even though he's not. Like, he's the one who found her when after what happened to her. I mean, we get his perspective, and it's interesting. And how, really, I guess it's like they all have expectations placed on them to be a certain way, or they think they have expectations on them from certain people and feel like they've let people down because they didn't meet up to those expectations, and how people in their past have, I guess, disappointed them as well. I'm not sure if, like, Maho, because her parents just were not in a good place, it seems like, from what she knows from her aunt and uncle, who might not have even liked the parents, so yeah, I mean, still, I don't know, it's interesting, and it's fine to, I do have to say, now I'm thinking about it, if Sujin, I think, who's the one who got the plastic surgery, she's worried because she's seen online from bloggers that all of them, they recovered quite quickly, and it's only about, like, the fact she had plastic surgery. I think we were really getting, like, any info on her, like, besides the fact that she and Aaron and Mayo are all from the same place, so yeah, I don't know. That's because I don't know, I would have just liked to know more of her story through some. Oh no, I didn't. What the fuck? I think she's the one who had to live with her grandmother, or I could be so wrong, but yeah. I don't know. I just don't really feel anything toward these characters. That's my overall point I'm finding. So yeah. I think that's all for now. So I'll see you when. So it's the next day, and I've done some work and whatnot, and I have also done some reading, and I did finish If I Had Your Face, and I still just didn't really feel connected to these characters who I did like. I guess they took steps to change the outcome of their life or to do something for themselves, because we see how they make changes and really they come together. With Shujin in particular, she is told something she suspected, but it was confirmed by Karu that her boyfriend was cheating on her, sleeping with another girl, and Shujin, she did get evidence, and she gave us the plot to ensure, like, of what she would do to ensure that she didn't come out of this relationship when it ended with nothing, that she would have something. And with that scene in particular, I would have liked to have seen the how that played out, just because we were told what she was planning, but I would have liked to have seen how it played out, which we didn't. And she didn't really ever change her appearance, because she was, her department head didn't want her to cut her hair or anything, as it was all natural, and that's how they wanted to portray her, like this all natural beauty. And she just cut her hair, so and cut her hair from how long it must have been to probably very short, a lot weight most. So basically a metaphor. If you heard that, I just hit against my dress. Which, yeah. And with Cairo, like, she has this opportunity to really be in a different job, and probably in a place where her boss treats her better. Who we're only told she goes into an interview. We don't really know if she got this change in life, but I guess it's the potential that she'll be making a better life for herself. And with Arwa, she sees who in a person from a boy band, someone she admires, who they truly are behind that, I guess, facade, and it breaks Sarah's heart. But she lets go of this, like, I guess, crush or whatever, and let's go. And we do see with Walna, like, she doesn't get the most support from her job because of circumstances, it seems like, and as well it seems like her husband was lying to her because he lost his job like a couple months prior and wasn't telling her, and it seems like, I don't know, I probably missed something, but they got into a fight and he leaves her, so yeah, I don't know, there were just elements of it that I felt like I would have liked to see more of, but I did like seeing these women come together and just really be there for one another. I just thought that was beautiful, so yeah. I think overall, with how I felt towards this book, I'm just gonna give it 3 stars, so yeah. And I just realized the book I'm planning to read next is downstairs, so I'll just give the name of it now, and when I'm downstairs, or I might get the official blurb of it tomorrow, we'll see. But I'm planning to read, I think it's Elias Emma by Ava Glass, or something like that, I don't know. And I believe it's about someone who works for MI6, or someone in an official for the police having to protect this a person from another country as they're on a run from people who want to kill him. Could be wrong, so yeah, we shall see. But yeah, I think that's all for now, so I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and I just got back from doing some grocery shopping and whatnot, and it was quite a long day, quite a dreary day, as we got heavy rain and wind, so that was fun. And as I mentioned yesterday, I did start a new book. I started Elias Emma by Ava Glass, and this is about a newly minted secret agent, Emma Makepeace, yeah, has barely graduated from basic training when she gets the call for her first major assignment. Transport an important asset, the handsome son of Washington distance across London without being spotted or killed. With London's famous Ring of Steel hacked by the Washington government, the two must cross the city without being seen by the hundreds of thousands of CCTV cameras that document every inch of the city's streets. Buses, subways, cars, and trains are out of the question. Traveling on foot and operating without phones or bank cards, which could reveal their location. They have 12 hours to make it to safety. This will take all of Emma's skills of disguise and subterfuge, and this one move will get her and her charge killed. And I just realized her last name, like seriously. But yeah, so far I'm on page 92. Yeah, on my one, yeah, page 92. And so far I'm enjoying it, or not enjoying it, I'm finding it interesting as we learn about Emma and what I guess encouraged her to be a spy, as her father gave information to the British government in the post-Soviet communist era, and it put a target on his back essentially, and he had to get Emma's mother, who was pregnant at the time of Emma, out of Russia, and he wasn't able to reunite with her, and he was killed for it. And Emma wants to be like him, a spy, someone who does good, and we see with this charge, he's someone who's incredibly, I guess, stubborn, and not hot-headed, but he's someone who, he doesn't really consider himself Russian, he considers himself British, like he came to the UK when he was extremely young, so he seems like have any memories of Russian. All his life is in the UK, and he is also someone who he considers doing this, going into hiding, as selfish, as he is a pediatrician and he focuses on childhood cancer, and he's good with the kids we see, and he cares for them. So it's like he doesn't want to throw away his career, he doesn't want to abandon the kids who just need support during this difficult time. And we see how he eventually has to agree to go with Emma when his life is in danger, and how they have to one from the Russians who have hacked the CCTV say hi, like we put a tracker in his clothes. And it seems like the agency Emma worked was compromised, as her leader, her head, he had to go and hide. He seems like, or had a change of plans in the mission, and it seems like he cannot trust his second in command, or Emma can't really. So it's up to Emma really to be on her own and get to MI6 to protect this guy. So we just see that, we learn about Emma's backstory, and we just see them trying to one from the Russians who are after them. So yeah, so far I'm just feeling it's okay. Like it's a fun time, I guess. Like the suspense. I mean, you do know like what will happen. They will get to safety. But it's like, I guess for me, it's just I'm curious about the journey, what it entails for them in the city that's large and that never truly sleeps but has quieter moments. So yeah, so far I'm intrigued, and I think that's all for now. I'm gonna lie down because I'm tired. So it's the next day, and I've done some cleaning and whatnot, and I have done some reading of Elias Emma. I keep wanting to say Elias for some reason, I don't know why. And I'm on page 194, and it is a fun, interesting time. I'm just enjoying. I'm trying to get across London without being spotted on cameras, and the reason they cannot, Emma cannot really trust her agencies, because it seems like there might have been a traitor in the sense of probably second in command working with the Russians, so that's an interesting twist one. I don't think we'll really see because we're not getting the I guess what's going on behind the scenes, and we're not getting Ripley's point of view of him learning. But I think there might be some information at the end. I'm hoping. But what we see is Emma and how she first got into the agency, how she worked to place bugs at this like Russian camp and impressed her when she was in the army, and it impressed her commanding officer who was friends with Ripley, and that's how Emma came into Ripley's radar. And we see how she got into the agency, some of her training and whatnot. We learn more of her past, of what her mother thought of spies, and how Emma, in the way she thinks she's protecting her mother by not telling her she's a spy. She doesn't. It's like, oh, I'm working for the government in some office job or whatever, and whatnot. And we also see Emma and Michael going close, and this kind of scared me because I was reading. I'm not sure if it's because I watched way too many cop shows or someone gets double crossed, but I'm thinking Emma might be double crossed by Ali, but by Michael. Let me explain it. Emma opens up to Michael and tells him things she probably should not be telling anyone, like why her mom came to Russia, came to England from Russia. My God. And what happened to her father, and how she spent years wanting revenge, and how I have to say, I like how what Ripley said is that Emma isn't able to take direct revenge on the person who killed her father, as her father died because he was ordered to be shot to death. She's getting her revenge by taking down a system that allowed, that I guess not allowed, but punished her father and forced him to be a mole, and how Whippet might have known of him as he was when they were trying to get out of Russia and they failed. And the reason I said Alex is that Emma Makepeace, obviously a false name, as that's not her real name, which I should have probably thought of but honestly, some authors they just give their characters the most not the best names, and that might be. But Emma is from Emma from Jane Austen. Makepeace is like what she wanted to do, make peace, which. And she tells Michael her real name, which is Alex, so you see them open up and kind of get close as they're trying to run from the Russians, and we see a couple times how the Russians are quite close to getting to them. At one point they're in this underground tunnel by a river that was built on top of by Victorians, and there's a dead end, and they were there because we please, and this is a way to get across London unnoticed from the door, and then they had to go across the river. And the Russians have placed the SUV vans to scare them, to prevent them from crossing the river. And they take a boat, and so the scene that's just quite interesting, seeing how close the Russians will get. And where I stopped for today on 194 is that Emma was shot in the shoulder, and Michael's like, "We're getting you looked at. I don't care, don't argue." I don't know. So far it's interesting, and I also did like seeing some of Emma's I guess past operations she was involved with, and how she made mistakes, and how she's learning more on what it takes to be a better spy, and learning more about her boss, learning more about Ripley and who he actually is. So, or not who he actually is, but I mean, just learning more about his past and I guess his relations with Michael, because she's a believer about Ripley and he is someone in Michael's lifetime. I don't know. I don't think we'll get answers for that, but yeah, so far it's just a fun time. So yeah, but yeah. And as it is Saturday, that also means that it's the end of this vlog. I was contemplating continuing on into tomorrow, as I do have 70 pages left and I like I'll finish tomorrow in this book, but I don't know, I just don't really wanna, so I don't know, I just like for a week and I want an extra day, if that makes sense, I don't know. But yeah, that's all for now, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, tell me what you've been up to. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel. If you want to follow me on any social media, all those things are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video. Bye.